We are having a kind of a little special Friday office hours. We're doing something a little bit different than we normally do. We are going to be talking more in depth about Seller Labs and Seller Labs tools. So we're going to give everybody here a second to kind of get online. This is going to be our chance to kind of dive deep into some of the tools at Seller Labs and make sure that you guys understand what we have and how to use it and how it benefits you and that you're getting the most value from it. Now, I don't want you to leave, but if you came expecting our normal office hours where we just kind of chit chat for an hour, I want to be open and honest because I don't want you to sit here and then at the end be like, wait, I didn't know that that's what we were doing. So I'll repeat it again for the people that just came on. We're doing something a little bit different this week. It's a holiday weekend here in the U.S. I thought that attendance at the live event on a Friday before a holiday weekend would be a little bit lower than normal. And so we're going to, I invited two special people from Seller Labs. I'll introduce you in a second. And we're going to be deep diving into the Seller Labs tool, taking your questions and talking about how you can get the most value from the product. So totally understand if that's not what you were expecting today and you want to drop off. I will not be offended. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jeff Cohen. I'm the VP of Marketing at Seller Labs. And you clearly haven't been on our office hours that we run every Friday. We've been doing this now for 8 or 9 weeks as a chance for you as sellers in the community to ask questions and dive deeper into the things that are impacting your business. Today, I have on two special guests. I have on Lauren Wood and Jennifer Dare, both from the Seller Labs team. So ladies, let's introduce ourselves and kind of talk about which team you guys work on, and then we'll get into what we're going to talk about today. Lauren, do you want to go first?
Sure. Thanks, Jeff. So my name's Lauren. I'm an account manager. I work in Ignite, and I'm also diving into the other products as well. But I'm happy to be here today with you guys.
Great. Jennifer?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jennifer Dare, and I am the product manager for Seller Labs Pro, and I am able and working in all of the Seller Labs products.
Awesome. And these two are the experts. A lot of times you get to talk to experts in the space on the selling side of the business. But today I wanted to bring experts in the space on the software side of the business, and they understand the selling side. And most importantly, what they really understand is how to use these tools and get the most out of them to help your business. So connecting value from software to the challenges that you're trying to find. Now, in addition to that, we're looking for your opinions. We're looking for your feedback. So you have two ways that you can communicate with us. We have the Q&A chat where you can ask questions, and then you have the general chat where you can just kind of talk and go, ooh, that's really cool. Or Jeff, what's that picture behind you? My kid did it. And we have an opportunity for you guys to talk in both realms. If you're interested, we can turn on your microphone and you guys can ask more detailed questions or get into it a little bit more with what we're trying to do. Now, Seller Labs has gone through a pretty large metamorphosis, is a good word to call it, over the last 6 months. So 6 months ago, Seller Labs had 4 distinct products. And over the last 6 months and even longer on the back end, we've been working to move all of these into an integrated all-in-one solution. So today, when you sign up for Seller Labs, you're not just signing up for Feedback Genius or Scope or Ignite, you're signing up for Seller Labs Pro, which gives you all of the features that we're going to show. So if you're not already using Pro, we will hit you up and see if you're interested. And if you are already using Pro, you have access to all of this. And what's really cool about when we went to the all-in-one was we got rid of all the different tiers, right? So every product had its own pricing. It had different limitations. We got rid of all of that. We went to a unified pricing. So now you pay one price and you get everything you see. And that's pretty cool and gives you a lot of power. So Lauren, let's go ahead and start off here in the in the dashboard and talk a little bit about the dashboard and like what a user is going to see when they first log into Pro.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm happy to demo our Pro product here. So this is what you're going to see when you first log in. And once you have your marketplace connected, you will see your home command center here, your dashboard. You'll see all the different metrics here that are beneficial for growing your business. We do have a view date, and you can even custom range the date here, so you can look at whatever metrics at whatever date range you're looking for. At the top here, you're able to easily switch through your marketplaces. So this is just an example account, but had we had additional marketplaces, you would see the different ones here and you can toggle easily. The cool thing about the marketplace as well as the date viewer is this is available on pretty much all of our pages, especially throughout Ignite. You'll see the different marketplace switcher and the custom date ranges here. So it really is universal throughout all of our pages for a seamless transition of throughout the navigation.
Yeah, and it's really important that if you have multiple marketplaces and you haven't connected your account, that's like the first thing to put on your list to do, because you get all of your marketplaces included. So go ahead and click up into that box and click add a marketplace and start adding your marketplaces. So the dashboard is kind of our starting point. It gives you kind of that daily view of what's happening in your business. Let's go deeper into like how you would manage a product and set different parameters within the product catalog.
Yeah, for sure. So from here, you're going to have your navigation here, and we'll go right into the products catalog. Jennifer, did you want to talk a little bit more about the products?
Sure. So this is the place where you will see all of the products in your catalog per marketplace. And as Lauren pointed out, you can switch between your marketplaces here as well to see all of the relevant products. The point of this table is to show you all of the metrics. We have tons of data around your financials, your traffic information, your inventory. So what we're showing you when you first log in is just a few key data points, but you have the ability to customize this display in a couple different ways. One key way is through that customized display button. So if you want to click on that, Lauren, that'll show you that really you have the ability to create reports, and we provide some default reports that you can also use. We created 3 key default reports right now that focus on inventory, financials, and traffic. So if you click any of those, Lauren, anyone you want, and then view, you'll see that the table itself changes and it will show you, it's supposed to change.
I warned you guys before we started, Murphy's Law is that something will break doing a live demo.
Undoubtedly. And I know we're working in this table right now in engineering, so you never know what might happen at this exact second. But there it changed for us. And you can see we displayed some key metrics related to your traffic data and your session.
Jennifer, that's just a small picture. So let's show them like all the data that we have and how they can kind of create their own view.
Yeah, this is the cool thing. You can click on that build a custom view, Lauren. These are all the data points that you can add to any table. You can add them to the defaults. You can create a custom table. You can pick whatever date range you want. And that's something that's new to us on the products table, because we heard from our users that they really wanted to create custom date ranges. They had specific time periods that they wanted to analyze the data. And so this was the way that we were able to allow that. And whenever you create a custom view, you can just go ahead and save it here by naming it, and you can come back to that view anytime you return to the table. And another cool thing is that you can export this as a CSV file, which you can then use in any sort of spreadsheet application. So you have the ability to take this data outside of the product if you need to, and do any sort of additional analyses that you might want to do.
Okay, so let's give people some homework. Let's go back to the main products table. And I want to show them where they can set their COGS. And so there's a couple of things you can do on this table that are really critical to kind of getting your information. You're getting your information set. So Lauren has worked on a few kind of pop-up displays that come. And so she will kind of walk us through And if you haven't already set these, when you go to these tables, it should walk you through making a few of these updates.
Yeah,
Yep.
what we're seeing here has been completed, so you don't see the warning, but you would have a shaded box that would alert you to the missing COGS data.
Yes, absolutely. And entering your COGS is crucial. You just hit the little check mark here, save it there. But that's going to definitely filter.
You got to make sure you click
all-
the little box to save, right? That's the kicker.
Exactly. Yes.
And you can do bulk editing. So if you have a lot of products and you want to enter all of your COGS, you can upload and download a template from us. So it doesn't have to be a one-off. And the value, the importance of doing this is that, it's important for you to track. So when you're calculating COGS, what I typically recommend is that you put in any price or any cost that is associated to the product prior to it getting to Amazon. Okay? Because Amazon is only going to show you in their pricing, Amazon is only going to show you bits and pieces of that are related to Amazon cost. So don't just tell me that it cost you $3.59 to buy the sock. Also remember that you have to have packaging for the sock. You have to ship the sock overseas. You have to get it from the dock to the Amazon warehouse. So include all of those costs to get the most accurate picture for your profit.
For sure.
Awesome. There's a couple of other inputs with inventory, right? Or are those not live yet?
No, they're live. You are not seeing them on this default view, but if you switch to the inventory view, they should be live. This is fresh. There we go.
Awesome. So these were just recently added. Jennifer, you want to talk a little bit about these and what they will lead to?
Yeah. So reorder level and lead time, I think were just added as recently as this week. This is something that we are going to be using and we'll talk next about notifications, and it'll make more sense when we get to that point. But we are going to be able to notify you, and you can even tell by looking at the table when you may need to reorder some products. And this is specific in this case to products that are fulfilled by Amazon. So this is something you would use. You can use it if you're not using Amazon, you can still enter your own reorder level and lead time, but the alert, specifically the notification, will be for fulfilled by Amazon product.
Yep. Awesome. And so again, like homework, right? So we're writing down our little homework sheet here. And I need to set my COGS, my cost of goods, and I need to set my reorder level and my lead time. And that is going to start to help us project when you're running out of inventory, give you your profitability, and really kind of fill out these reports to make them more valuable for you. And that's really critical to do. We're going to be adding more stuff into this product catalog, and this is really going to become kind of a home for you within the Seller Labs Pro tool. And so keep looking back here for more changes, and you'll be getting information when those changes occur. So let's kind of talk a little bit about the notifications and kind of how the one drives the other.
For sure. There's a couple ways that you can return back to your dashboard. You can see the notifications on any page, but just want to note that there's a few different ways, and we've changed this up recently of how to get back to the dash. So you can always click down here. You can click the logo up here, and even on the navigation here, you can get back to your dashboard here. But notifications are this little bell here at the top. They're going to notify you if things are out of budget, if you have a payment failure, incomplete campaigns, things like that. And so this account doesn't actually have any notifications. But Jennifer, did you want to speak on notifications as well?
Yeah, I think, Lauren, if you want to click back to the menu on the left where we have the notifications link, this shows you just how you would set your notifications. You may not want to hear about everything that we have the ability to notify you about, or you may want to set some custom parameters. In this example, right now we've released 3 notifications, whether or not you've connected your ad API, if your advertising campaign is out of budget, and also if you've lost the buy box. And lost buy box is one of the examples where you can set when you want to know about it. If you're a reseller, you may not need the same percentage as if you were the brand owner. And so we allow you to configure that here. And this is where you'll also see that inventory notification that will be coming out soon as well.
Yeah, and we'll be rolling out a lot more notifications now that we have the notification center in place. And I think the one critical thing to kind of be thinking about, we as a customer success team have to remember this all the time. When you go to view your notifications, it clears them. So if you go into your notifications and you look at them, that's your time to take action. We'll be adding some additional functionality around the notifications to be able to get them in other manners, or to be able to, keep them or mark them as read and things like that. But just kind of keep that in mind for right now. And then the other one that we kind of added into here is also the negative review and negative feedback notification, which currently lives within Feedback Genius. But to kind of bring all the notifications together in one place, we're bringing that in for you to be able to see that and be reminded that it's another notification that you have. And unlike other softwares in the space, we do not limit the number of notifications. We do not limit the number of product reviews you can track. We do not limit the number of feedback requests that you can track. So all of your notifications, all of your tracking is included. And this is a great way for you to kind of understand when your advertising gets disconnected, when a campaign goes out of budget, when you've lost the buy box, when you have a bad review. And those are all things that are going to give you kind of a heads up to the health of your business. And it's really critical that as we manage our businesses and we manage their health, that we pay specific importance to the things that can negatively impact our business. And ultimately, when it comes down to it, we as Amazon sellers have so many things that kind of bother us in our day or trouble us in our day. If we can put our attention on the right things, it's really helpful. Now, I want to this is where I want to go to a little bit of audience participation. And the question I have is, you have the Seller Labs product manager on this webinar. So my question for you is, what notifications do you want to see? What notifications would be critical to you if you could get them? And maybe how would you be interested in seeing those notifications? Would you be interested in seeing those via email, via text, just on the screen? Do you want us to fly a plane over your house with a banner? Hey, it's brainstorming. There's no such thing as a bad idea. So let's see here. We had one question come in, so let's take it while people are posting your if you have any ideas about notifications, go ahead and post them. Let's see. The question is should the COGS include shipping to Amazon if you buy inbound shipping through Amazon? That's technical. I'm not sure if the user is buying their inbound shipping from Amazon, should they include that in the COGS, or would that show up in the per ASIN price? I don't know if I know that answer. Jennifer, do you know that answer offhand? Otherwise, we'll have to get back to Derek on that.
Yeah, I'll have to check what fees the fees are included for the Amazon fees to see if that one's included or it should be added as COGS. I can research that and I can come back to you on that.
Yeah, and I think maybe what would be great is maybe if we could even add we'll add like a what we call a KB article, a knowledge-based article on that topic once we get that information as a way for other people to have that information in the future.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility to fire off a notification when an item image changes? So that's a great suggestion. So that they want people to be looking at their item images, and if they change, to do that. Desiree says that I crack her up. Not sure what I did, but I like to crack people up, so I'm glad I could.
Flying the plane over people's houses.
Oh, that was probably it. Yeah. Oh, here's a good recommendation that somebody noticed, Jennifer, that maybe our team can actually jump on. Since we moved all of Quantify into this section, the candy button in the upper right
Yes.
it's still linking to Quantify. If we can link that to this page, they said that would be really helpful. But we're going to show you what we are doing, but we might be able to get that as a temporary fix. But what we're going to show you in a minute is going to more than make up for that.
Yeah, that is a great point. I too was wondering where we were slowly knocking away those links, and I was wondering where that was. So that's an excellent as well.
Let's see. Will says that he would love to see product page change alerts. So not just the image, but bullets, product category.
That is something that Amazon is building into an API right now, an API that would provide us with information about that.
Okay, so Michael, I love when our customers help us out. He says the COGS would not include your inbound shipping fee because it does not include fees because you can ship in multiple ASINs on the same shipping into the FBA. So essentially, you're getting a $500 fee from Amazon, but everything's in the box. But we'll double check that and post an update. Desiree said you were right, Jennifer, the airplane flying over the house. All right, let's see. Is the buy box notification by ASIN?
Currently the setting is across all ASINs. We do recognize that you'd want to potentially have different buy box percentages per ASIN.
Cool. And then this one, I think Amanda's asking, I think it's something that actually is a report within Ignite. So Lauren, maybe make a note of it and we can look this up, but she wants a notification on ad campaigns with no impressions. And so that is, I believe, a suggestion that Ignite makes, but I think what she's saying is actually give me an update of that. Don't just give me the suggestion of that. And so we'll actually see that a lot of suggestions within Ignite are really notifications as well. But she's and you should, Amanda, if I'm correct, you should be getting an email from Ignite and you can set how often you want that email that will tell you the different suggestions and recommendations that you have from Ignite. And I think there's a feature inside of Ignite that'll allow you to say how frequently you want that message sent to you. I can put Lauren on the spot and ask her if I'm correct.
Yes, you are correct. And I can go to that really quickly to show you going into Ignite. We have a notifications right here in Ignite. Oh, they changed it around. Sorry, it's live now. All right, let's go back into Ignite.
The fun is how everything changes on our side on a regular basis. So the customer success team has the beauty of always having to remember the new way. All right, so Leanne wants to know, can you set up a package tracking dashboard for fulfilled by merchant orders? Amazon does not provide this information in a dashboard format. That's it's not on our current roadmap, but definitely an idea that we'll consider. So a tracking dashboard when you do fulfilled by merchant orders. And I keep all these notes, so you don't have to worry about writing them down, Jennifer. The chat gets saved.
As I'm scribbling frantically.
Right. I think it's in the account profile. Yeah, I don't know.
Just add. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. It used to be in the settings.
All right. Well, we want to. Caroline will probably figure this out for us, and then we'll come back and show you where it's at.
Sounds good. Oh, here we go. It's settings within Ignite. So there we go. It's not the main settings. It's the settings within the advertising navigation here. And here's where you're able to see that.
Okay. So this is one of the things that we're still kind of doing and bringing all of the tools together. We realize there's different settings in different tools. Over time, most of the settings will all be coming back into the main part of the pro account. So you'll go to one settings page and be dealing with all of your settings. But there are some different settings within the individual tools as we as we move through them. So we know it's a little confusing, but this is kind of like, I'll call it growing pains of bringing all of our tools together and being able to give you guys more. So here's in the settings of Ignite where you can set up the monitoring and that information. So we were going to jump into the communication center, but let's go ahead and kind of stay within, I was going to stay within Ignite since
Okay.
you were already there. And one of the really cool things about Ignite is that Ignite is showing our what we call unified navigation. So Jennifer, do you want to talk a little bit about the unified navigation and how it works within Ignite, and then how it's going to roll out?
Yeah, so what we are trying to do is consolidate all the navigation, because as Jeff said, each of these products were built individually, and we're now bringing them all together, and they each had their own types of navigation, sometimes on the left, sometimes on the top. And so we're building one consistent system, and Ignite is the first product to have what will be incorporated into all of the different centers within Cellular Labs Pro. And so Ignite is the first. So you'll see this where all of the pieces are combined. So I know earlier we mentioned that dot picker where we said quantify is still showing in there. All of that will be gone, and you'll get to each of the modules or the centers using this left-hand navigation. We've rolled that out for Ignite first. Feedback Genius is underway, and the rest of the products are coming right behind it. So this will be one way to navigate. It will not be confusing.
And it's pretty cool because what it's going to allow you to do is kind of jump from the different sections within each tool to the different sections within the other tools. And you can see that like you get direct access to your advertising, your research, your notifications, your marketplace connections, and your communications. And so this is a really kind of cool way of driving between all of our tools and bringing them all together, and really kind of taking the candy picker, as Desiree was talking about earlier, that's not working correctly, and fixing it so that when you now go into here and you click on products, if we just roll up to products there on the top, you go right into the different product category that we're in within the Pro dashboard. So give us a couple of weeks. This isn't like by the end of the year. This is like, I don't want to put any date on it, but you probably will start seeing this roll out across another product within a week or so, and within all of the products within the next few weeks. It just requires a lot of Q&A testing to make sure that things are being done correctly. So let's jump back into Ignite.
Sounds good.
And what's the most critical, let's kind of start here. Like, what's the most critical thing when I'm getting into Ignite to get the most value out of Ignite?
The first thing that you want to do is set your target ACOS. The most powerful thing that Ignite can offer you is our suggestions, and that's to optimize your campaigns. So the first thing that you want to do is set your target ACOS. It's pretty easy. You would just go into your active campaigns here. Again, you can also, from this left nav, you can click into the campaigns on this page here. But right here is your target ACOS, and you can set them pretty easily. If you don't have it, or if it's at 0, you're going to see that little red hazard sign that you saw earlier on the products table, and you'll see that here. So it will notify you to let you know, like, hey, come over here, set your target ACOS. And as you can see by setting it, you're going to see multiple suggestions start rolling in right away.
Yeah, and if you have not set your ACOS, you're going to get a big pop-up window when you come into Ignite that Lauren created with the product team that's going to allow you to default set it across the board. And so that's really helpful as well in giving you the ability to kind of set the to set that at the individual at either the individual product level or across the whole campaign level. And it's really important that you set these ACOS because these are what drive the recommendations. But let's kind of let's go in and show some of a new feature that we added into Ignite, what we call the smart filters.
Yes, for sure. So there's, again, a couple of different ways that you can get to the keywords, but the smart filters are going to be on your keywords page. And I'll go into that now. We'll go into keywords. And they're pretty awesome. So the smart filters are going to give you, they have preset defaults of what we consider poor conversions, your keywords to be unprofitable, to be good performing keywords, and poor ads. I'm not sure, I haven't looked into this specific account here. I'm curious if we can see any here.
Well, yeah, and this account is usually pretty good at keeping their stuff up to date. So it's
Up with it, yeah.
yeah.
But you'll see some poor conversion. There was a couple here that showed up under the poor conversion. So that is something, if you're not super familiar with what to do with your keywords, to look under the smart filters, and that'll kind of guide you into the direction that you want to go.
Yeah, so there's really three ways to use Ignite. There's the totally let the AI of the system work for you. So let's go to the suggestions tab just for people who are not familiar with it, right? So this is using the AI of Ignite, and if you click the little down arrow to the left of Atlanta Falcons, you'll see like the science behind the recommendation, and these are using a combination of confidence and importance to help you make decisions, and it's telling you to increase a bid or decrease a bid, and it's allowing you to either do these individually or it's allowing you to do these in bulk. So if we click on the suggestion types, just so we can show them, these are all the different types of suggestions. Now, we've had people come back to us and say, I don't want to use suggestions. And so what we did was we created smart filters, which mimic the same logic of suggestions, which allow you to look at all of your keywords or all of your search terms with a preset filter, which then allows you to manually make adjustments on your own. So the third way that you can do this is not using the filters, but just actually setting your own parameters. So let's go into the keywords tab and just pull up the all the different filters. There we go. So you can actually set all your own filters of the bid amount or the ACOS or the impressions or the clicks, and you can start to kind of filter through the data in any way that you see fit. And the beauty of Ignite is that different people run advertising in different ways. There may be different confidence that you have in different ways of managing Ignite, that you may want to actually use suggestions in some parts of your business, but manually manage other parts of your business. And a lot of this functionality was designed from input from you, our customers, as well as our managed services team. And our managed services team manages advertising for over 100 Amazon sellers. They're managing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in ad spend every month. And they come back to us and say, but now I'm trying to do it this way, or now I'm trying to do it that way. And we add more features and functionalities based on the different things that they're trying to do and that you're trying to do as Amazon sellers. So if you have additional suggestions of either preset smart filters that you think we should add, or other targets, within suggestions, we'd love to hear them. We're working on other suggestions to make the advertising even smarter, and we'll be rolling those out in early summer. But we're always looking for other ideas that you guys have in terms of this types of suggestions or the automation that you would like to have Ignite do for you. Let's go to show one other feature of this, and showing the added serving status to the campaign page, where people can kind of see what all is happening with their account.
For sure. So on the campaigns page here, you're going to see a new column that we've added in there called serving status. For this specific example or demo, you're going to see all of them are delivering, but there's a couple different options that you can see here, and I'll go into what those are. So you're going to see delivering or not delivering, out of budget. Out of budget can be one of two things. So that's either your campaign is out of budget or your Seller Central account as a whole is out of budget. You're
Or
going to
maybe
see,
you're just, your wallet's out of budget.
or that, yes.
Oh, I guess that would be payment failure, right?
Yes, so payment failure is exactly that. And that's going to be your payment failure to Seller Central in there. And then your account out of budget here. I haven't seen, so these, a couple of these, so the payment failure and account out of budget, we ran the numbers and it's less than 2%. So you probably shouldn't see that too often. But that's something to look out for. In here, in the serving status though, you're also going to see incomplete. This is a really interesting one. That just means that your campaigns are incomplete and they need to finish setting up. And typically, the majority of people who have incomplete here is that they haven't yet added the products to the campaigns that they're manually setting up. Good news is when you set up a campaign through Ignite, we force you to add products in there. So you won't see that incomplete button if you are setting it up through Ignite, but it is something that can be overlooked when you're adding it through Seller Central.
Yeah, and I think one of the cool things about Ignite, one of the coolest things about Ignite, since we created it back in 2000, I mean, we launched it. We were like one of the first to launch on the Amazon advertising API. Is that I believe? I mean, I'm probably making a general statement that nobody can back up one way or another. Marketing isn't supposed to do that, but I guess I will. I believe we're one of the only systems out there. There's my disclaimer. We're one of the only systems out there that allows for the level of detail for the people that want to dig in deep to what they're doing, as well as the simplicity of automation for the people that don't want to go that deep into this. And so Amazon advertising can be almost as complex or as simplistic as you want it to be. And some people get really detailed into Amazon advertising and they want this super granular approach to be able to do things. And other people just want to hang out over on the suggestions and automations page. So let's just show the automations page. After you get comfortable with our suggestions and you understand kind of how they work, you can actually start to automate these at a campaign level. Let's just kind of show some of we'll go through the quick process here.
Yeah.
And so with each campaign, you can set the confidence and importance. And then when that happens, you can actually tell our system to accept the suggestions on your behalf. My recommendation is typically that you need to be doing suggestions before you do suggestion automation. So you should be manually looking at these and making sure that they're actually the types of suggestions that you want, that they're that you're comfortable with them before you start automating this. But once you get to this, you really can take a portion of your advertising and set it and forget it. But advertising costs you money. It's a part of your bottom line. So always kind of keep an eye on it in some way, shape, or form. But for the people that want the more simplistic view, they can use suggestions. They can use suggestion automation. For people that want the more complex way, they can break it all the way down to the keyword or search term, filtering level, doing bulk changes. So we really kind of go both directions in this tool. And again, with Seller Labs Pro, there's no limit on your ad spend. There's no limit on the number of campaigns that you manage. You can toggle between all your different marketplaces, and all of your advertising is managed within the one tool. Let's see, am I missing anything that we wanted to talk about within Ignite?
Maybe one more. So we have another area for automation within Ignite, and that's going to be in our ad scheduling. So that's another thing that you can set it and forget it, and you can help save some ad dollars. So you don't want your ads to run at non-optimal times. By going into your campaigns, just pick a specific campaign. You're going to see a couple different things that you have up here. But the coolest thing is ad scheduling. And I would highly recommend running like an A/B test to see when the best times to run your ads are. But all you have to do is turn it on. It's going to enable that for you. And then you'll turn it on by either your time frames or the dates of when you want it to run. And your campaigns will pause on the times that you want it to pause. So that way you're not wasting any ad dollars.
Yeah, and the other thing that I would say is that yeah, Lauren, can you say what time zone is this based on?
So this is based off Pacific.
Yeah, and so I'm going to make this more general and say it's based on the primary time zone of the marketplace you're using. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, that is correct.
So all, if you're not aware, all U.S. Actually probably all North American, Canada, U.S. and Mexico run off of Pacific time zone. Did I say Pacific? Pacific time zone. And so make sure you understand the time zones. Now, here's the kicker of ad scheduling, because we've seen this happen before. If you are using Ignite and you are using ad scheduling, and then you go into Seller Central and you pause a campaign, guess what happens? Ignite will turn the campaign back on. So if you want to pause a campaign, you need to make sure that you're coming in and turning your ad scheduling off. Otherwise, you'll actually create this like weird conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're not recommending that you never touch Seller Central again. We understand there's things you need to do in Seller Central and there's things you can do in Ignite. I like to say that Ignite is kind of your daily check-in on advertising. Seller Central is like your deeper dive. I want to go a little bit deeper into one of the new features or functionalities that Seller Central has. But just remember that if you're using ad scheduling, it can create a conflict and you turn something off in Seller Central and it kicks back on. So Russ wanted to know what time works best for your ads. That's where I pull out my shirt that I haven't made yet. It depends. So there's a couple of philosophies around ad scheduling, and it really is different by customer. One is that at midnight Pacific, everybody's ad budget resets. And so the most competition for advertising occurs at midnight until people's budgets start to run out. Caroline has just posted in what's the best time to run your ads. So that's one thing that you definitely want to be considering, is that like all of your competition resets. The other thing you can do is you can look at your order history, and depending on the volume of orders that you have, you can start to see if there's a trend within your orders in terms of what time they come in. And then it also comes down to how much budget you have. And so if you have a smaller budget, you want to work to get it to run in a more optimal time. But if you have a larger budget, you really want your ads running all the time. So ad scheduling is kind of a more advanced technique. One thing that I have seen with ad scheduling that's been pretty cool is you actually run two different campaigns. And you're not turning an ad off and an ad on. You're turning one campaign off and one campaign on. And maybe the campaign that you're running from 6 a.m. till 10 o'clock p.m. is a more aggressive campaign. And then throughout the night, you're going to a less aggressive campaign. So there's lots of different strategies for how to actually use ad scheduling to work. Had a question come in. I actually had this question come in twice, so we're going to we're gonna bring it up and try to stump Jennifer here. She's like, thanks. Okay, so we had two questions about COGS. One came up when we were talking about Quantify. Should the COGS include shipping? And what happens if my COGS change? And then another one came up with regards to advertising. So when I bought products and it cost me $4. Now I'm buying products and they're $4.25. How do I kind of manage my COGS, when different inventory has different price variance?
Let me make sure I'm understanding the question, Jeff. for the same ASIN, the cost has changed.
Right. I ordered 100 units and they were $4. They're at Amazon. I'm down to 30 units. Now I order another 100 units, but they're now $5. So I actually have a different pricing for those products.
So as the initial items with the lower cogs are
I have
sold.
an answer to bail you out if you don't know the answer.
Me out. I'm over here doing math.
So this is a challenge of every system that's out there, because Amazon uses what's called a first in, first out inventory system. So they're not identifying your products based on what you sent in. They actually don't use either a LIFO or a FIFO system. They send your stuff to a warehouse and whatever's there, they ship. And so they don't necessarily know what products you're shipping out. So your bookkeeper, right? So you should be running some kind of QuickBooks or something like that, should be able to keep a more direct look at your profitability of your products. My recommendation is that when you ship a product in that has a higher price point, you update the price point of that product, because you want to be looking at your current profitability, and you'll never know whether the product you sent is in Texas and being shipped to the customer, whether that came from the new order or the old order. And so if you're running kind of a what's called that's running what's called a last in, first out, a LIFO, versus a FIFO, which is first in, first out. I recommend you do a last in, first out type of look at your inventory, which means that the last products you sent in are the first ones that are going out, which means your higher cost is there. And bank error in your favor. If you actually sold one of the ones that cost you less, you put more money in your product, but your general view is showing you the profitability based on your new price point. Yeah. So Nikhil said, use a software like this to understand current ongoing profitability, and then use QuickBooks or Xero for looking at your bigger picture P&L. Thank you. I think you said it much nicer than what I stumbled through. I'm going to write that one down. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. Okay. So just to recap on Ignite, homework for Ignite is that you want to be setting your target ACost, and you want to be looking at your suggestions and setting your confidence and your importance. Those are kind of like the three main things that are going to give you great value out of Ignite, and you want to be looking at them. Okay, let's jump into our communication center. It's really weird to call it the communication center and not call it Feedback Genius. But it's still the communication center that is powered by Feedback Genius. And we'll kind of talk about a few things within Feedback Genius, the communication center, that you may not be aware of.
Yeah, so there's a couple different things that you're going to want to do when you first get into the communication center here. The first thing, and it's what Feedback Genius is really for, the most powerful thing, is creating your own message. So these are going to be your messages to people, your buyers. And you can always do that here in the Messages Center. And then once you create those messages, you have a couple different variables that you can add in here, such as product names. That's something that's used most frequently. The product names are really interesting because that product name that you see there is really a short name. And that leads you to the second important thing that you'd want to do. A short name is just going to be a name that is easily recognizable to your buyer. And that way you have a higher rate of them leaving feedback if they can recognize exactly what that name is.
Yeah. Now think about this. You have a large number of characters for your title. If you don't add a short name within Feedback Genius, that whole title of 100, 150, 180 characters, however many you use, shows up in your email. It just doesn't look good. So the short name allows you to take that whole thing, and instead of calling it Joy Boy Apparel Socks Fire Sun, it just says your Fire Sun Socks, and gives you that short version that tells them this is what you ordered.
Exactly. And you can do that pretty easily just going into your products here and editing your short name here. And that's also something that you're going to see in the products table as well, as you'll see the short name added in there also.
Awesome. So one other thing you can do in Feedback Genius is where we talked about it earlier, where you're monitoring feedback and reviews. So let's kind of show them where you can ensure that you're tracking your products correctly for monitoring.
For sure. So on the products table here is where you're going to track your actual products. He has 4 products and he's tracking all of them, but they would be toggled off if you're not tracking them. And then from here, you can go into your reviews. Looks like he hasn't had any in the last 30 days, but going back into the past 12 months, you're going to see all of your reviews of all of your products tracked here. And you can comment on Amazon from here as well.
Yep. And we do recommend that as a best practice for you to comment on every review, both positive and negative. It's just good for people to see. So this is really where you have this opportunity to do a little bit more tracking. And it's really good as an owner to know anytime you get a feedback or a review that's negative. And so you really want to be setting these up. And this is a big change in Seller Labs Pro. So we used to charge based on the number of reviews that you were tracking. It was an add-on for Feedback Genius. So Feedback Genius, you used to pay for the messaging, and then you used to pay per marketplace, and then you used to pay for the number of reviews. And that's all gone. Okay. So now when you sign up for Pro, you get all the emails you want to send, which we still recommend only one per product. And then you also get all of the reviews and marketplaces included. And one of the cool things about Feedback Genius, if you're not aware, is that it now supports, I think, 11 marketplaces. So it now supports all of North America, all of Europe, Japan, and Australia, right?
That's correct. Yes.
So if you haven't set it up to be tracking and sending out review notifications in those markets, you can. Now, I had a question come up earlier, and I kind of ignored it on purpose. So if you're still on, Michael was asking a question about being banned on Amazon from sending buyer-seller messaging. And so I actually did a webinar on this yesterday with the Prosper Group. And if it's live, Caroline can maybe post to it. But Amazon has started doing what's called programmatic bans of buyer-seller messaging. You get like a 30-day ban for violating one of their policies. It looked like he had a link in the email that he wasn't supposed to have. So here's if that happens to you, here's what we recommend. 1, go into your emails and check them. I have a quick little checklist that you can go through. 1, how many emails are you sending? Only be sending 1. 2, are you doing any type of marketing or promotion? If you are, take it out. Offering a coupon, telling people to come to your store, anything, take it out. Are you using any suggestive language? If you're using suggestive language, the easiest way is look for what we call an if-then statement. If you're doing this, then do this. If you're happy, leave a review. If you're not, contact us. And then the last is, so let's see, number of emails, links, promotions. Oh, attachments. Make sure your attachments are clean. Amazon is actually reading through attachments now programmatically. And if you're trying to hide your coupon, then get it out. So once you get that removed, you don't need to do anything. At the end of 30 days, you get to start messaging again. Now, if that happens, if you get into a 30-day ban, we have a new feature on here. Let's go to the request a review feature. It's currently sitting in our main dashboard, but once all the navigation's there, it'll make more sense. And this is a feature that Amazon rolled out about a couple of months ago. And Seller Labs was one of the first to automate this feature. So there are a lot of Chrome extensions that provide automation of this, but you still have to go into your order page and then you have to like run the Chrome extension. All you have to do is come into here, turn on request reviews through the review automation, set the number of days, and then every order after 4 days, we request the review. And if you're not familiar with this, this is on the order detail page. It's not through buyer seller messaging. It's on the order detail page, and it's the request a review feature. Now, when you do request a review, it's slightly different, and it's an email that comes from Amazon, not from you. It's got Amazon's logo, not yours, but it has Amazon approved copy. And so it's the cleanest way. Now, if you get a second violation for buyer seller messaging, you get banned for life, as Michael said, meaning you cannot proactively message customers in buyer seller messaging. This becomes your fallback. And so that's why we added this into here and as part of our communication center, because as sellers, you need to go one way or another. Now, I think I started a little bit of a storm, so let's see what happened here. Brian Anderson from Prosper is actually on the line. He said that it will be up on Monday. It'll be posted on Monday. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Let's see. Jennifer, you worked on the request a review feature. Did I miss anything with that, or did I kind of cover that? Anybody in the audience have questions about that?
I think you did great, Jeff. I want to point out that it's Amazon's rules that you can only send it from 4 to 30 days after delivery. And so that is why there has been a little confusion around why the choices. That is an Amazon requirement for this. And as you mentioned, Jeff, it does come directly from Amazon, not from us. We do have something in place right now in the back end of our system to prevent you from sending both a custom message from Feedback Genius and review automation through Amazon. So I wanted to clarify that. That's not something we initially had, but we have now, so we will not be sending duplicate messages on your behalf. So that helps with any potential violations there, as you mentioned, one message only. So that's exciting news. And I also wanted to mention, when you use this feature, the request is an Amazon template. As you said, it will never be in violation because it is generated directly through them, and it requests a review both on your product and you as the seller within the same message.
Awesome. Thank you. And then the question, let's see, one question that came in was, are you not allowed to provide coupon codes to customers in emails? I know the answer if none of you do.
That would be a no.
Correct. Thank you, Lauren. So no, you are not allowed messaging customers. We can do a webinar specifically on this topic. I can repeat the one from Prosper. I'll give them a couple of weeks and then we can repeat it. Messaging your customers should only be about the order. It should not be in promotion or marketing in any way, shape, or form. So you want one more piece of homework, go through your messages and make sure they're clean. That's another piece of homework. Let's see. Will Amazon send review automations on FBM items? Do you know if Amazon is sending the request a review on fulfillment by merchant, or are they only doing it on fulfillment by Amazon?
Yes, they are sending it for FBM as well.
Awesome. Let's see. We answered the question about coupons. Can you use review automation in tandem with your own custom emails? So I think Jennifer answered that.
Yes. The answer is no right now. However, we do know that there are other types of messages that you may send through Feedback Genius that are not review requests. And so we're trying to isolate those two so that you can use the automated request to review feature and also have other communication that is required for your order that may not be a request for review.
So I know that we've talked about this. So I'm going to throw you softball here, Jennifer. If you use the review automation, is there any way to know how many were sent by Amazon? Any sort of log?
We have a way internally right now to be able to see, but we are not showing that yet. Amazon does not guarantee every message request is sent. But
they actually use very vague language. Yeah. It's hard for us to know what they do.
We know if we sent the request to Amazon, but we are not receiving a confirmation from Amazon that it has in fact been delivered. Nobody is. So, yeah.
I think the answer to that is, I guess, twofold, right? That's one, is that it's a little bit of a black box, right? So if you're comparing and contrasting these two things, and we're working on a blog article right now for you to kind of see that. The request to review is like the safest way for you to communicate, but there's no confirmation the email's been sent. There's no open rate to see that the email's been opened. There's no way to like test a subject line, but the message comes from Amazon. It's got Amazon's logo. It's got stars built into it. So it's, you know, but you just don't know if it's been sent. Buyer seller messaging, you put yourself at potential risk because you need to follow Amazon's rules. And so many people mistakenly violate the rules. Lauren knows from the customer success team that, I mean, a lot of people who come to us with issues don't even realize that what they're doing is wrong, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they have no idea that they've sent something illegal in the messaging.
So it's, you know, it's a risk. Get into my camera here. It's a risk reward, you know, type of answer. And, you know, Amazon, we're getting into technicalities here, but buyer seller messaging is a tool. Request a review is a tool. So Amazon has two tools to communicate and ask for reviews. It's our belief in the long run that Amazon is going to be pushing more and more and more towards the request a review process. That's just what we believe, which is why we automated that process and we brought it into the communication center. And so you as a seller, you have the choice of what you want to do and how you want to do it. So Desiree's saying that she got in trouble because she mentioned a charity that they donate to in the email. The tough part about the programmatic the programmatic suspensions that Amazon does of buyer seller messaging is they don't really tell you exactly what you did wrong. And our team has tried to work with Amazon to get those answers, and we have difficulty getting those answers. So it's hard. Let's see. In my current customized email, I send out an email asking if the customer would like a coupon for the future purchase. They would then message me saying they would like one, and I reply to it. Was unaware this was against the terms of service. Yeah, that is against the terms of service. I would actually say I'm surprised that you haven't gotten a 30-day ban for that message to this point. So we run into quite a few people who set up their messaging a really long time ago. We do have templates. Our templates are a lot of our templates are based off of Amazon templates, so you can just kind of customize them to your brand. We also have worked really hard to notify people that we're using older templates, but they do slip through the cracks because everybody ends up customizing. So it's hard for us to like audit the emails, the you know, million plus emails that are being sent from our system on a daily basis.
And something to note, Jeff, our success team is great with actually reviewing messages. So if you have a message and you're just not sure if it has any jargon in there that's, you know, illegal according to Amazon standards, then send it over to us and we'll certainly look through it for you.
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that because if I mention that from marketing, then success goes, why'd you tell everybody to do that? But since you're on success and you mentioned that, that's a free, all of you on this webinar today just got a free offer for a review of your messages. And all you have to do is go to the Seller Labs website and say, Lauren told me that I could.
Please don't.
Just don't say Jeff. Or if you really want to have fun, say Jeff did. And then it just, you know, and then they all curse me. No, I'm just joking. Our team is awesome. Our team is available for you. Brian just hit us up. The link to the Prosper Show is now live. It looks like he did some amazing work while we were on here and got that up there. So if you want more detail specifically on this topic, click on that link that Caroline just posted, and that'll give you some additional information relative to everything we just talked about for the last 10 minutes. I want to thank you both for coming on. I want to offer, you know, to everybody here that our product team is interested in talking to you. Our customer success team is interested in helping you. So if you would like our product team to reach out to you to go through what we call an interview, where we interview you and kind of ask you what you're doing. We do these over time, so don't think you're going to get followed up within a day. You can post in the chat. I know Jennifer is always looking for people to kind of talk to and hear, how are you using our tool? How are you using Seller Central? How are you succeeding as a seller? And I thank you both for coming on.
Absolutely, Jeff. Thank you for mentioning that. I would love to be able to reach out to people that are interested in talking to me. So that's great.
And if for some reason you went through this whole thing and you're not already a Seller Labs customer, then I guess I'll just ask you to sign up and give it a free 30-day trial. This was really geared towards making sure our customers understood exactly what the tool does with all of these changes. It's hard for me to recap. I always like to do a recap at the end of these, but we covered a lot. So I'm going to recap this quickly and say that on your main product page, go to the product catalog and make sure you set your delivery time and your COGS. In your notifications, make sure you set where you want, what notifications you want and what parameters you want notifications for. Within Feedback Genius, the communication center, make sure you're tracking your product reviews, you have your short names set, and that you've added all of your marketplaces to the system, because you have unlimited marketplaces, unlimited emails, unlimited review tracking. Within Ignite, you want to make sure that you're tracking your ACOS, or setting your target ACOS so we can provide you recommendations. You can start to create your ad campaign groups. We didn't even get into that. Make sure you check out the smart filters, look at the suggestions, and decide whether you want to be using automation. You can also kind of tease yourself by looking at the new navigation within there and see how that's going to be working in the future. And we didn't even get into scope. We ran out of time. We didn't even get into scope, but within scope, that's where you can track your products and you can track your keywords to be understanding both you and your competitors' keyword rank, as well as product rank and a whole bunch of other statistics. And again, another amazing offer within Pro is that you used to be limited in how many you could track. Now it's unlimited in what you can track. So make sure you're getting the most out of this tool. Make sure you're getting the most out of Seller Labs. The little icon on the bottom right, if Lauren wants to just kind of hover over it, is the way you get a hold of our customer success team at any point in time. And they would be happy to get in touch with you, answer your questions, and help you become a more successful user of our tool and seller on Amazon. So I think with that, we'll wrap it up and tell everybody thank you.